So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning to everyone. So, my name is Muhammad Azharul bin Azmi, and today we're going to talk about violence in sport. So, let's take a look. What are the violence in sports? So, the first one, we're going to go through the definitions of violence itself. So, what is a violence? So, violence is the use of the excessive physical force which causes or has the potential to cause harm or destruction to others. But bear in mind that violence is not always illegal or disapproved, so it may be praised and lauded as necessary in some sports based on the nature of the sport itself. So next, let's take a look what are the definitions of the aggressions. So most of the people always misunderstood and misconception between the aggressions and also the violence. So basically the aggressions is the verbal or physical action grounded in an intent to dominate, control or do harm to another person. So it's different to the violence. So as we can see here, the sideline, there's a cartoon that explains about the violence in sport. So in certain sports, violence is taught as a strategy by their coach, their manager, and in order to win the match. So when you are gonna learn when it's necessary to use unnecessary roughness. So another example, another situations is violence in sport is not a new, it's not a new thing, but not all sports are violence. Right, next one. Violence is a non-contact sport. Violence is usually limited to using the violence image in thought. And also in a contact man sport, players learn to use the violence as a strategy. And in a woman contact sport, violence may be used as a strategy but not to prove femininity. Right, so that's a popular conflict in today's sports. People accepting violence while being concerned about injuries caused by the violence. For example, in the rugby, American football, ice skating, and so much more. These are the kind of sport that contain a lot of physical contact and a bit rough, right? Next, disabling injuries caused by the violence in some sport are serious problem. And last but not least, dominant idea about masculinities are related to the high injury rate in men's sport. Right. These are the types of on-field violence. There are four types. The first one is a brutal body contact, borderline violence, quasi-criminal violence, and criminal violence. Now let's take a look. What are the brutal body contact, borderline violence, quasi-criminal violence, and also the criminal violence? So the first one is a brutal body contact. So brutal body contact is an action common in certain sport and accepted by the athlete as a part of the sport participation. And brutal body contact is the most difficult form of violence to control. And most injury occur on illegal hits. And the most effective strategy might involve a suspension of the player and fine for the team's owner. For example, like tackle in the soccer game. Second one is a borderline violence. So borderline violence is an action that violate the rules but are accepted by most of the player and coaches as a consistent with the norm. Next is quasi-criminal violence, which is the action that violate the formal rules and see it as a rejection of the informal norms. And last but not least is a criminal violence, action that are clearly outside of the law and the law enforcement officer prosecute them as a crime. So these are the example picture of the on-field violence, right? So we have a chip shot, considered as a quasi-criminal violence. And then flagrant falls, considered as quasi-criminal violence. Tackle in soccer is considered as a brutal body contact. And then you remember that Mike Tyson uh, bite his opponent ear, right? Rip his opponent ear. So it's considered as a criminal violence. So how to control? So control may be learned if the sport culture emphasizes on the self-control, respect for the self and others, physical fitness, and the patience. So we have a celebrity riot and frustration riot. So which one is more dangerous? We want to know which one is more dangerous and can cause harmful to others and also can destroy many things and so much more. So the first one is celebratory riot. Some of the most dangerous and destructive crowd violence occur during the celebration that follow victories in important sport event. Compared to the frustration riot are rare and less common than celebrity riot. So fans of the team that lose are deciding match are more likely to exit the scene and deal with their disappointment by themselves or with a close friend. So basically, you can say that celebratory riot is most dangerous compared to the frustration riot. Right now, we move to so the first one is a crowd size and then compositions of the crowd, meaning and importance of the events, history of the relationship between the teams. For example, they may likely being a rival for a long time, right? Like JDT and Terengganu and so on. And then crowd control strategy at the event. So the event manager may not overlook about the strategy on how to control the crowd, where are the most suitable position to put the ultras and so on, right? Is it behind or close to the entrance or exit of the stadium and so on? And then alcohol consumption by the spectators. So they also may control it very tightly. We did not want that any alcohol consumption in the stadium. And then locations of the event, motivations for attending the event, importance of the team as source of the identity for spectators. All right, thank you for watching. Thank you. Bye.